Good evening, hello and welcome to yet another edition of the Political Stock Exchange. I'm Preeti Chaudhary, and over the course of the next 25 minutes, we are going to discuss a very contentious topic. Whether or not the word secular and socialist should be removed from the Constitution, the preamble. It all started with an ideologue, a leader of the RSS, suggesting it's time we debated to take out the word secular and socialist from the preamble. That led to a massive political blowout, with the opposition going all out to attack the incumbent government and the Bharatiya Janata Party that was suggesting that was the plan all along, which is to amend the Constitution. What do the people think? Well, Sea Voter has gone to the people of the country with this quick snap poll on what the people, the voters of the country feel, whether or not the words secular and socialist should be removed from the Constitution of India. As usual, the respondents were classified in three categories, which is those who vote for the opposition, those who vote for the NDA, and the fence sitters, neither here nor there. Before we get down to the numbers that we have, and some of the numbers are rather surprising, I want to quickly introduce our viewers to our guest this evening. In the studio with me, Ashutosh, political analyst; Ratan Sharda, author, analyst; Amitabh Tiwari, political strategist. Let's quickly dive into our first set of numbers that we've got in. The first question that was posed to the respondents: have you read the preamble to the Constitution? Opposition voters, yes, 40.8%. NDA voters, 45.2%. Others, 47.3%. Total, 43.7% of the people that we posed this question to believed, responded, saying that they have read the preamble to the Constitution, which clearly has the words secular and socialist. No. In all, it stands at 35.8%. Can't say, unsure is about 20.5%. So the numbers right there. Let's quickly move on to the second question. Are they aware that secular and the word socialist were inserted during the emergency by Indira Gandhi? In that, opposition respondents who vote for the opposition say that 33.1%. So even where the opposition is concerned, those voters who vote for the voters who vote for the India Alliance or opposition parties, only 33.1% are aware that these two words were inserted only during the emergency. The NDA voters, respondents, much more aware, with 46.7% saying they know these two words were inserted during emergency by Indira Gandhi. Others 35.1%. In total, about only 39.4% of the total respondents are aware that these two words were inserted during emergency. No, 25.6%. Can't say, 35%. Let's move on now to the important question, where the respondents were asked, viewers, should the original preamble drafted by Ambedkar be restored? That ineffectively means the words socialist and secular be removed from the preamble of the Constitution. And this is where it gets interesting. Yes, it should be restored. Those who vote for the opposition, 36.6%. NDA, 60.6%. Others, 44.1%. No, 53.4%. Opposition voters, NDA 24.2%, others 37.4%. So it's interesting that in totality, as per this survey, 48.3% of respondents feel that the original draft, which was by Dr. Ambedkar, be restored, which clearly did not have the two words secular and socialist, while 38.1%, that's it, 38.1% believe, say, no, we should stick to the post-emergency draft. Let's take these figures, these numbers, the data to our panelists this evening. And I want to begin with Amitabh Tiwari. Amitabh Tiwari, interesting findings of what is a quick snap poll with, of course, the number of respondents are limited, but it gives us a basic ringside view on what the voters are actually thinking, what the respondents are actually thinking. What are your biggest takeaways?
Yeah, clearly, if you see the first question wherein we asked, have you read the preamble? India's literacy rate is around 80%. So clearly 20% people may not have understood even the word preamble. So that number is close to 20%. And even amongst the literate, it seems that only around 43-44% are aware. So there is, you could say, not a significant awareness about the preamble, or rather, not a significant number of people have read the preamble. On the awareness aspect, there is a clear division. Now, amongst the NDA voters, there is clearly much more awareness about the uh, introduction of the terms secular and social, because they were at the forefront of bearing the tyranny, you can say, during the times of emergency, and they are clearly aware that these two terms were inserted by Indira Gandhi during emergency. And the third question clearly leads to a more division, wherein a significantly higher number of NDA voters want or wish that we move back to the original preamble or restore the original preamble written by Baba Sahib Ambedkar, while on the Congress side, or the supporters of the Congress, because they have been standing for these two words, social and secular, or socialism and secularism, a lot during these 50 years, even in their manifestos. And these are one of the values also of the party of the Congress. That's why we see a clear division here amongst the voters or the respondents.
Ashutosh, you want to weigh in on this? Because the most important question, of course, Amitabhji highlighted that in terms of not many people really aware where what the preamble of the country, of the constitution says, lesser still whether or not the word secular and socialist were inserted during emergency. But the moot question, Ashutosh, comes in from, should the original draft of Dr. Ambedkar be reverted to, which did not have those two words, secular and socialist? The answer is befuddling, because nearly 48.3% in total, NDA plus opposition voters, feel yes, that's the way to go. 38.1% say no, we need to stick with the current context with both the words in there, which were inserted post-emergency. Can't say is 13.6%.
See, Preeti, this could be seen from the two perspectives. One, I think there's a clear divide between the opposition and the government. Those supporting the government, they want original constitution to be reinstated, and those who are in opposition, they are clearly not in favor of that. And number is, in both the cases, is more than 50%. The second issue, what is more important for me, is what is the classification that, and I'll go by that. What is the percentage of Dalit which are in favor of the original constitution? What is the percentage of OBCs, and what is the percentage of minorities? Because these three are very, very important from my perspective. Because you understand, and I also understand, that the BJP is basically supported by Hindus, but among those Hindus, there's a less number of Dalits and the less number of the OBCs who support BJP. So this whole debate hinges on, because constitution means what? It's more important for the Dalits, more important for the OBCs, because it gives them a sense of equality, which they were denied for the centuries and centuries in the past. And the constitution, first time in this country, which is in civilizationally, was never equal. First time they had given a sense of equality to all of them. So for them, it's something of a matter of their identity. It's a matter of their existence. That is why when you use the word Ambedkar's constitution to be restored, this gets more ambiguous. I'll be more interested to know whether the people are in favor of removal of secularism and socialism from the preamble itself. Because when you use the word Ambedkar, this gives a different connotation altogether. But when you say removal of secularism and socialism, it gives a different connotation altogether.
Well, in that context, you're right, because it's also, given a new breadth of life to the old poll plank of 2024 of the opposition, which was Samvidhan Khatre Mein Hai. Once again, you have the opposition rallying around with the constitution copy, especially in the state of Bihar. I want to bring in Ratan Sharda, because Ratan Sharda, the findings are interesting. Question number 3 on whether we need to revert back or should revert back to the original constitution drafted by Dr. Ambedkar. Forget about opposition and even NDA respondents. What's interesting is that even the fence-sitters, others who are neither here nor there when it comes down to voting patterns, 44.1% of them actually believe, yes, we need to go back to the original preamble.
Priti, this shows that despite all the noise by the opposition that constitution is being hijacked extra, they realize what the constitution's values were. To me, the worry is that when you say they have not read preamble, it shows that though we put in a compulsion to read preamble and the duties for the school children, they still have not read it. This means our education is very bland, very neutered, and it cannot create interest in the younger generation, which it should, because that is the life breath of democracy. So there is something wrong with the way we are educating our people. Secondly, about the awareness. Awareness is so low about what constitution carries and what the questions are, that we have this situation where people don't know. And again, that shows that all vacuous debate, noisy debates are not making impact because you're not sticking to the content, not sticking to the right arguments about this. Third question is exactly what RSS said, that revert to the original constitution. So on that simple question, people understand. If you say it is casteist, this means that people who swear by Ambedkar, the voters and the poor and the underprivileged, when you say Ambedkar, they immediately connect and they say want to go back to Ambedkar's constitution. So this the misleading debate that we have, this was the original constitutional word, socialism, secularism. People know that secularism and socialism are not original words. They were
Okay.
inserted without any democratic opinion, and that is why they say you have to restore the original. That question was very intelligent. It didn't go that are we revising the constitution? We are not. So I think your questions are much more clearer than what the debating people who keep on badgering RSS BJP would like
Okay.
people to believe.
But it's interesting because, Ratan Sharda, and I want to go into the next set of questions because it only gets more curious from there on. But the point that was raised both by Amitabhji and Ashutoshji, and even you, which is the level of literacy and education and those who've actually exposed themselves to the preamble and constitution is very, very limited. And I do know because in context of this survey, it's a snap poll. It's, needs to be taken. I believe all surveys need to be taken with a pinch of salt. But even then, the level of awareness was much lower than even what we were expecting, what C-Voter was expecting. But let's quickly move on to our other three set of questions, and they'll reveal a little more on and give us a larger insight on what people are thinking, because they seem to know exactly where they stand on this. And this question gives us a clear ringside view of that. What does secular mean in Indian context? Equal respect for religions. This is what the opposition voters feel, that nearly 80%, 79.6% of them feel that equal respect for all religion is what is meant by the word secular. NDA voters, 60.7% of them feel that yes, the word secular means equal respect for all religion. Others, 75.2% feel that secular means equal respect for all religion. Whopping 70.6% of respondents know the meaning of word secular, which is equal respect for all religions. Separation of religion and state, 6.2 in total. You can see the fine print there on your television screen. Feel that secular means separation of religion and state. Absence of religion from public life, 6.8% in total. Read the fine print there. Something else, 7.9%, can't say 8.4%. But what you really need to look at is the 70.6%. I'll come back to it with our panelists. Let's quickly move on to the second question. What does socialist mean in Indian context? Government control of major industries, 19.1% is what opposition feels. NDA feels 9.3% on that question. Others, 12.2%. In total, 13.8% feel that the word socialist means government control of major industries. There is ambiguity here because, if you look at it, equal distribution of wealth, 11.5% in total. Read the fine print. Welfare policies for poor. That's interesting. 52.3% of opposition voters feel this is the word or meaning of the word socialist, which is welfare policies for poor. 47.5% of NDA voters say there's not really much difference. About a 5% feel that the same, 50.9%. Overall, 50% of the people feel that the word socialist means welfare policies for poor in the Indian context. You can see the fine print there. I want to move to the third question that was asked to the respondents. Debates around removing secular and socialist. The entire conversation, is it politically motivated? Let's get that question going, and that's why it gets more interesting. Opposition feels 63.7% that it's politically motivated. Even 44% of NDA voters feel it's politically motivated. 50.7% of others, who are the fence sitters where voting patterns are concerned, feel it's politically motivated. 53.1% of respondents feel yes, this entire debate of socialist, secular, removing from the constitution is politically motivated. No, it's a concern is just 26.5%, which is practically half of those who say yes. The numbers on your television screen, and that's the dichotomy, Amitabh Tiwari. Let's hark back to the question we took on what does secular mean in Indian context. 70.6%, which includes opposition and NDA voters and others in totality, feel the word secular means equal respect for all religions. Welfare policies for poor. Nearly 50% of respondents know that socialist word means welfare policies for poor in the Indian context. Nearly 53.1%, Amitabh Tiwari, know or feel that this is all politically motivated, the chatter about removing these names. But what's interesting in all of this, Amitabh Tiwari, knowing all of these, three questions, the meaning of the word socialist, the meaning of the word secular, whether it's politically motivated, yet 48.3% want to revert back to the original draft without these two words. The irony can't be clearer. They're very clear on what they want.
So see, despite lesser awareness about when this socialist and secular word was included in the constitution, you see that there is near unanimity on the meaning of both these terms, because almost 70+% feel that
Right.
that it is equality of religion. Only amongst NDA voters, I would say it is a bit lesser, and the highest 10% say that it means something else, which could mean minority appeasement, etc.
Right.
etc. Amongst socialism, also, I think if you club the top three, because it's largely means welfare, but
Right.
still, I mean, 50% of the people do say that it's welfare policies for the poor. So it's almost unanimous there. Whether it is politically motivated completely and to some extent, if you add both, even amongst NDA voters, 53%
Exactly.
of the people believe that
Right.
it is politically motivated, which equals to the overall 53%, or rather
Right.
63%. So almost two-thirds of the people believe that it is politically motivated. So I mean, what I can say is that ये public है, ये सब जानती है. See,
Exactly.
what you
We are
can say.
short of time, but I
Yeah.
understand, Amitabh Tiwari, I want to get into Ashutosh and, Ratan Sharda ji as well. Ashutosh, it's worrying, because if you look at it, nearly what? How many? 70.6% know that the word secular means equal respect for all religions, yet 48.3% want the word removed.
See, I'm more worried about that only 60.7% BJP voters or the NDA voters believe that the secularism means equality of respect for the religion.
Right.
It's a very worrisome figure, because if people do not believe that all religions should be respected equally, that means there is something fundamentally wrong. And that further reinforces the whole debate that the secularism should remain there and people should be taught what secularism means. If the 40% people think that either one of these, I'm not saying only the Hindus or the Muslims, but if out of these 39 point something people think that either Islam is superior to the Hinduism, or the Hinduism superior to Islam, or Christianity superior. So what we have done, that is why I'm saying the time has come when the secularism should be reinforced.
Okay.
It should be told to the people that why we need the word secularism in the preamble itself. And I completely agree with Ratan Sharda that people should be taught about it. More awareness should be there. They should be told about secularism, what secularism means. Because we believe, and Hindutvadi all believe, that
Right.
secularism is the fundamental of
Right.
Hinduism. If secularism is the fundamental of Hinduism,
Okay.
that means
So-
everybody needs to be taught and it should be reinforced.
So Ashutosh believes needs to be reinforced, not removed. Ratan Sharda, quickly, sir, your take.
See, B.R. Ambedkar noted during the constitution debate that there is no need to include word secularism as entire constitution embodied the concept of secular state, which meant non-discrimination between the religion and equal rights for all religions. Now, coming to the debates, very, very tricky and very important. See, the words, the secularism was treated by us from Nehruvians, that is separation of state and religion. Every time BJP does something which seems religious, these people start shouting that this is murder of secularism. Now, coming to the the religion is equal to all respect for all religions is something that RSS and Hindutva espouse. And what did Taram Singh say when Indiraji went to him when she introduced the secularism word? What is the translation? He said translation cannot be a nidharmi or a dharmi. It can be sarva pantha samabhav. So that
Okay.
meaning has impregnated us because we believe in that, it's part of our DNA. As far as socialism is concerned, Nehru wanted mixed economy, towering height to the public sector, but people believe it's welfare policies, which is
Okay.
basically the way capitalism able to defeat socialism in
All right.
Europe.
I'm running out of time. I need to quickly close the show. I appreciate all three gentlemen for joining us. It was a snap poll, so we've done a quick snap debate. I know it's sea voter poll. We are, putting it out there, the numbers, but take it with a pinch of salt. We're going to let it be, but the debate, of course, will carry on the word socialist and secular. Whereas the top court of the country is concerned, they have usually, in the past, upheld the spirit of the preamble where the Constitution is concerned. Leaving it at that, thank you for joining us.